right, and welcome everybody to LA Press Box Live. Today, the Dodgers lace them up again against another rival in the major leagues and are trying really hard to not slide into a long losing streak. You could argue that they have a miniature losing streak at this point, and it's relatively significant the way that the Dodgers go, but they still, fortunately, are nowhere close to being overtaken in their division by the Padres or anybody else, and they are still near the top of the rankings for the major leagues for the best record in baseball. So hopefully today the Dodgers can kind of get back on track. We have to give them a little bit of grace because they have struggled with some injuries throughout the season, and I think all things considered, especially near the bottom of the lineup, the last 3 or 4 hitters in the lineup for sure. That's where the Dodgers have consistently struggled, and that is where the young players have had to step up, and it's been kind of a spotty performance to this point. And so we'll see if they can continue to get better in those spots with those young players who are relatively inexperienced, but also see if at the least by the All-Star break, we start to get a lot healthier and start to see some of the guys who have played for them over the last couple of seasons during their championship runs return to the lineup, because what we're used to seeing is All-Stars up and down the lineup. But today the Dodgers are going into Minnesota to play the Twins, and Lee is going to lead the Twins against the Dodgers following a 4-hit performance. But first of all, we're going to get to the overall records, and we will, of course, as usual, take you to the lineups today. So the Dodgers come into this game with a 49-29 record, first in the National League West, and the Twins are 38-41, so just a couple of games below 500, third in the AL Central, but still in the thick of things. So first pitch is going to be in Minneapolis, and the Dodgers are preparing to send out Eric Lauer. His record so far this year is 2-5 with a 5.37 ERA. And hopefully he can also get on track along with the rest of the Dodgers, who have had a little bit of a losing streak, as we said before, for the first time this season. He has 40 strikeouts on the season. For the Twins, it's going to be Zebby Matthews with a 3-4 record, 4.78 ERA, and 34 strikeouts. The Dodgers are favored, as they usually are. And the bottom line is that the Twins are hoping that they can get a little bit of momentum going into the playoff break, which is the All-Star break, which is going to be with us before we look up and we see it. The Dodgers are trying to also not look ahead to this coming weekend when they play the Padres. Always a really highly contested series. This will be the second time this year that the Dodgers visit San Diego. And then, of course, later in the season, the Padres will finally take a trip up to Los Angeles. So the Dodgers, once again, are 49-29 overall with a 23-15 road record. They've hit 105 total home runs to rank third in the majors. The teams meet Monday for the first time this season, and the usual suspects on the Dodgers side are the ones that we're going to look to do well, the ones that are in the lineup. Freddie Freeman is one of them. He's got 17 doubles so far on the season and a triple and 12 home runs for the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani is 8 for 31 with a double and 5 home runs over the last 10 games. In the last 10 games, the Twins are 7-3, so on an upswing, and they are batting .306. Their pitchers collectively have had a 5.63 ERA and outscored opponents by 12 runs. When we look at the lineups here, as you can see, we have Lauer versus Matthews, and it's a battle of pitchers who are trying to get their ERAs down closer to 3. That's going to take some work at this point in the season. For the Twins, you can see the lineup here. Batting first is Larnach in left field. Buxton is batting second in center field, followed by Clemens in right, and the cleanup is Bell, who is the DH. Fifth is Lewis at first base. Caratini is catching. Lee at third base, and then Keishel, I think that's how you pronounce it, at second base. followed at the bottom of the lineup in the 9th position by Kreidler playing shortstop. For Los Angeles, as is often the case, Shohei Ohtani will start off as the DH. He's had a few leadoff home runs this year. Be nice if we got one today. He's got 16 total on the season with 43 runs batted in, and he's hovering right around a 300 batting average. Second position is Andy Pages in center field, who's playing both at the plate and in the field at the level of an all-star. And it seems like lately he's kind of settled into that second position. For Dave Roberts, Freddie Freeman, as usual, batting third at first base with 12 home runs and 40 RBIs. Mookie Betts continues to be in the leadoff position, the cleanup position, shortstop, batting .218, which is actually pretty darn positive for him. He struggled for a long stretch in the earlier part of the season, and he's been on an upswing. He's really been battling to get his average above 200, and of course he wants to continue to climb. That is followed by Max Muncy, batting fifth at third base. Kyle Tucker, who's really struggled, as well as the rest of the lineup below Kyle. Kyle's in right field as usual. Then Tommy Edman, who it's not really fair to say he's struggled, other than he's been on the mend. He's come back from the long road after an ankle surgery, but a key player for the Dodgers the last couple of seasons as they've won a couple of rings. Today he'll be in his usual position at second base. Rushing will be at catcher once again instead of Will Smith, and then in the 9th position will be Ryan Ward in left field. So the first pitch will be in just a couple of minutes at 4:40. We're going to get everything loaded up for you in the meantime.
numbers, but in the majors, those strikes have gotten hit. A lot of them have gotten hit hard.
All right, we are finally just about ready to go with the 3D for you. We'll start with the action shot today. Hey, Charlie. Good to see you. Charlie, I'll be back later. All right, so Tawny comes up. And first pitch is a fastball low for ball one. So 1-0, and the pitch to Otani down the middle. Oh my, he's flipping the bat with solid contact over the right field fence in the second deck for a home run, and another leadoff home run for Shohei Otani. The Shohei Show continues, LA sports fans. We're just getting settled in, and Shohei says, hey man, I'm ready to go, and hits the ball 113 miles per hour. 414 feet for Shohei. Wow, what a start. I mean, not even close. A blast at the base of the American flag. And that brings up Andy Pages. Just like that, the Dodgers have a 1-0 lead. So Pages has started 1-1 early. Boy, he's had some home run swings where he completely opens up his body like that and gets all of his force, all the physics, if you will, opened up to the right field area. And when he keeps his head in there and he sees the ball on the bat, I know it's a simple thing to say. It's extremely difficult to do at this level, but they teach you that when you're a little kid playing baseball. When he does that, he is so scary. All right, after a challenge, the count goes to 2-1. And the next pitch looked like it was in the strike zone, but it's actually called a ball, so 3-1 to Pages. Next pitch, line to right field for an out. First out of the inning, one away with a 1 home run. And that'll bring up the 3-hitter, future Hall of Famer Freddie Freeman, playing first base as always. First pitch, lone inside for a ball. And number 5 gets back in the box with 1 away and 1 strike. Well inside, swung on and missed. 1-1. Next pitch. Misses low for ball two. 2-1. Asked Dave Roberts, what's been happening just recently for the Dodgers at the plate, and he was saying we need to put pressure on pitchers by making them throw strikes. Don't chase. Don't try to press. And that's always been a recipe for success in baseball. But on cue, Freddie reaches for a ball that's just outside the strike zone and strikes out for out number 2. So that brings up Mookie Betts in the cleanup position. First ball right on the edge of the strike zone for a strike. Matthews has been painting the edges so far. Obviously, he'd love to get that one back against Ohtani because that was pretty firmly in the strike zone, didn't break much on the slider. Second pitch swung on and fouled into the dirt to the left by Mookie, and it's 0-2. Next pitch is swung on and fly to center field for an easy play, and that'll be 3. So the 17th home run of the year for number 17, Shohei Ohtani, and that's the shirt we got on today, guys. Trust me, he's on the backside. He's on the backside. Oh my, he's flipping the... All right. So, bottom of the first. And Larnock's going to be up first. And a change from what was projected earlier. Dodgers are starting Will Klein. And the first pitch from Klein is in the strike zone, fouled back for strike 1. A little quick break because the foul tip hit rushing straight in the mask, which that could be painful. I'll play catcher, I know. Really kind of ring your bell, so they're giving him a second to kind of collect himself. But I think we're going to start again momentarily, and we do. So 0-1 pitch from Klein, and low and inside for ball 1, 1-1. Next pitch also misses. 2-1. Followed up by a fastball, 98 miles an hour, fouled back, strike 2, 2-2. Two-two pitch on the way, inside, and bounces off the glove of the catcher rushing. And that brings us to a full count on the first batter of the game from the Twins lineup. Next pitch fouled off, and we stay with a 3-2 count. Another ball fouled off. So 7 pitches out of the chute for Will Klein. Once again, full count. And a sweeper, 91 miles per hour, fouled again. A lot of people would think that in the American League, it's the Yankees at the top and then everybody else. No question that even though the Twins are third in their division, they're in the mix for a playoff spot. It's a long, long way to go in a long baseball season. And finally, gets the batter to swing at a ball that just bounces in the dirt. Low, inside, swung on, strike 3. So that brings up the number 2 hitter, Buxton, batting .275 with 24 home runs. And the first pitch well outside, sweeper for a ball, 1-0. Second pitch, similar spot, 2-0. And Buxton's been one of the most productive home run hitters in the American League, so he's definitely dangerous. Next pitch, jams him up inside, fouls it off, 2-1. Two-one pitch. Oh man, got the fat part of the bat on the ball over left center. And into the stands for a home run for Buxton. Right on cue as we talk about his ability to hit home runs. Yeah, he looked confident as soon as there was contact. The ball was a little bit on the inside of the strike zone, but he got around that on that ball with no problem. Got the fat part of the bat on it. And hits it cleanly and clearly over the left center fence for a home run. And ties it up 1-1. So just like that, we're tied up with 1 out, and the 3 hitter Clemens up to bat. son of Roger Clemens. Gets started with a 1-1 count. Next pitch is on the way. And swung on and missed inside for strike 2, 1-2. Will Klein has definitely struggled. I mean, he's good some good minutes and good time on the mound this season, but lately he's one of these middle relief pitchers who's struggled. But strikes him out now. Pitch was high, just below nose height, and shouldn't have swung on that. We'll take the strikeout, of course, but Klein comes off the mound and he's just shaking his head. So I'm sure on some level he's shaking his head because of the home run that he gave up, and I think he's also shaking his head because he just doesn't look comfortable. Shook it again on that first pitch to the next hitter in the dirt for a 1-0 count to Josh Bell. So usually pretty early on you can tell whether the pitchers feel comfortable and confident or they're just struggling. Right now it looks like Will's struggling. Next ball is outside, check swing, but it didn't go, 2-0. And shook his head again. That's the body language you don't want hitters to see either. They can see that you're not confident, and they can just sit on something in the strike zone. Next pitch. Misses low for ball 3, 3-0. This is not a good sign for Will Klein. The 3-1 pitch right down the pipe, swung on a miss for a strike. And then the next pitch for a ball. And so walks a runner with 2 outs. So that brings up Royce Lewis, who's local, SoCal, from J. Sarah. 5th batter, only batting .203. Has 7 home runs. First pitch is a ball. Next pitch, swung on and missed. Strike 1. Next pitch, in there fast for strike 2. So Klein would like to get off the mound now with 2 outs, 1 and 2, but a runner on first. Next pitch is low for a ball, 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch, Lewis reached, but lines it to left field for a base hit. So now there's runners on first and second with 2 outs. And that was kind of funky, the way that he was stepping in the back of the batter's box on the white line as part of his rhythm. He did it the first couple of times in the at-bat, and then reaches for a ball that's outside the strike zone but makes contact and will take a base hit any day. So just like that, Will Klein is facing a heap of trouble. He looks off into center field. Looks like he's looking up at some clouds, trying to do some deep breathing, trying to collect himself and focus to get out of this inning. But his body language has not looked good. So 1-1. Already gave up a home run. And the next batter, he starts off with a strike. That looked outside. Two away. Runners on first and second. About to pitch to the number 6 hitter, Caratini, who's batting .241 with 5 home runs, 29 ribbies. Next pitch, just misses low with the curveball. Ball 1, 1-1. Next pitch on the way for a strike, 1-2. Really want to get Caratini out here. Not just because we're in some trouble, we got a couple of runners on base, but if you can close out this inning and then go into the second facing 7-8-9 rather than 8-9-1, you'd be in a lot better shape. But contact is made. It's right up the middle, bounces off of the mound, but no problem for Mookie Betts, excuse me, who fields it just on the other side of second base, as he can do very easily these days. Throws him out for the third. Excuse me. So at the end of one, it's 1-1. So Max Muncy's going to start off the second inning. Batting .265 with 16 home runs, one of our top home run hitters. With a brisk start to the game. A run for each team. Count early is 1-1 to Muncy, and the next pitch is inside, fouls it off for strike 2. And the next pitch swung on a miss for strike 3. So 1 away for the Dodgers. Swung at a ball that was low. Seemed to be pressing a little bit. Swung well over the ball, which almost bounced in the dirt. Catcher caught it as it kind of made contact with the dirt right at his feet. So that's going to bring up Kyle Tucker. Swings at the first pitch just outside. and fouls it off down the left field side for strike one, 0-1. Matthews up to 20 pitches now. Kyle Tucker at a pretty mediocre 234 average. And batting with 6 home runs. The Dodgers are just hoping he can get back close to where he was before. Next pitch is in the dirt for a ball. So Matthews about to deliver the third pitch, and it's outside for ball 2. So positive that Kyle's up in the count, and the third pitch is outside for a ball, 3-1. And takes ball 4 for a walk. So Tommy Edman comes up. And early count is 2-1. Two and two to Edman. Nice to have Edman back in the lineup. Only been around for a couple of games, but for what it's worth, he's batting .385 at this point. No home runs, no RBIs. After the long battle back, once the World Series was in hand, and he decided to have surgery on his ankle. He played through pain throughout that championship run. So full count to Edman. And the pitch is a line drive base hit to right field. Looked good on that swing. And they're going to hold Tucker at second. He turned on that with confidence. Ball just floated right in the middle of the strike zone. And what you like to see in that swing is not just solid contact, but, all power in athletics starts from the ground up. And so the flexibility in the ankle and the strength looked pretty darn good as he made contact, and the result was there. Nice line drive to right field. And that only helped his batting average. Who knows, maybe that'll puff it right up to 400. So rushing is up, but it looks like Kyle Tucker is coming out of the game as a second base runner. Tweaks something Announcers are speculating that it might be something in his midsection. We don't know, but we'll try to find out later. So Rushing comes up and swings and pops it up really high, shallow right field for the second out. Welcome if you're listening to the broadcast, and let us know who you think is winning this game, the Dodgers or the Twins. Showing the replay with Kyle Tucker, he kind of bent over and took a deep breath, and who knows, he might have strained a muscle somewhere in his mid cage or somewhere in his trunk area, but trainers aren't shown to be looking at him, so it's kind of mystifying why he came out so quickly. But Ward is up, the bottom of the lineup, and it's 2 outs with 2 on. Ward's got 11 runs batted in, so of course he'd like to pick up another here with a man on second that can run. And the fastball is fouled off for strike 2, 1-2. Ward's batting .229 with 3 home runs. And we'll let you know once we hear, if we do hear, what happened to Kyle Tucker as he was running from first to second on Tommy Edman's single to right field. But Ward swings and pops it up listlessly to left field, and they make the easy play for the 3rd out of the inning. So after the second at bat for the Dodgers, score remains 1-1. Shohei Ohtani with a lead-off home run on the second pitch of the game, and then for the Twins, it was Buxton matching him. Hopefully Will Klein shook off whatever that bad juju was in the first inning. Did not look comfortable, shaking his head several times, not just on the home run that he gave up, but on the pitches that he missed. So we'll see if he can kind of lock in, as the kids say, for the second inning. Lock in, fam. Lock in, fam. All right, and we are going to the bottom of the second with Will Klein. Will Klein, normally somebody who is a reliever, and it looks like it might be pitching by committee and by reliever in mass this game, because Klein is no longer the pitcher. Dave Roberts brings in Eric Lauer. First pitch is grounded to Mookie Betts, who gets all the way to his right really easily and really quickly for no problem, and the first out of the inning. The Dodgers acquired Lauer from the Blue Jays. And the pinch runner that had to go in for Kyle Tucker, the last bat around, Keishel, goes for him into right field. So the number 8 hitter, Keishel, comes up with a .255 batting average and 2 home runs. Now the early count to Keishel is 2-1. Next pitch. Just a tad outside the strike zone. And foul for strike 2. Interesting to have a top pitcher, Lauer in this case, that took from the team that you faced in the World Series last year. And the next pitch is called a strike, but it's challenged and overturned. And so now we have a full count with 1 out. So, pitch to Keishel is fouled along the right field line. Freddie Freeman running back over his shoulder, but it's out of play. So, count remains with 1 out at 3-2. So the pitch to Keishel is grounded along the left-hand side, and Mookie Betts rushes it, picks it up quickly, and throws for the out, no problem. Mookie Betts has been so good at shortstop, covers so much ground. And really, with Edman coming back especially, and when Freeland plays second base, you can argue this too. Between second base, shortstop, and third base, they all have such speed and range that they could cross over on any kind of ground ball that's hit in the infield that is not an absolute rocket and have a chance to make a play. I've seen Mookie run over the second base side easily and make plays there. I've seen Muncy run in front of Mookie. This one is grounded foul just to the left of third base. So the early count is 0-2 to the number 9 hitter. So this feels a lot more comfortable than Will Klein in the first inning. And maybe this is the design in the entire time, to let Lauer kind of ease in the second inning. And it's 2 outs and 2 strikes. The next pitch gets fouled down the left field line. And the count remains at 0-2. So the 0-2 pitch fouled away to the right side. Lauer's number 33. And he's thrown 12 pitches so far this inning. So another pitch at 0-2, and it's in the dirt for a ball, 1-2. So 1-2 with 2 outs. And the pitch on the way from Lauer is high and outside for a ball, 2-2. changeup just misses. So after Lauer started this at bat 0-2, now we have a full count. That was right on the edge, but no challenge. So the 3-2 pitch is popped up, foul, and the count will remain full. 3-2, 2 outs, no runners on. The Twins have not taken a series from the Dodgers in 15 years. So, of course, they'd love to change that history now. Pitch on the way and fouled again. Got to give the batter credit for battling up there. Next pitch on the way, and it's fly to left. Tough to get to. It's out of bounds. But Mookie gets there and makes the play for the 3rd out of the inning. So, at the end of 2, score is still 1-1. So we are ramping up to start the 3rd inning, and Shohei Ohtani is coming up again. Started the game fast with his first at bat and another leadoff home run. That was his 24th career leadoff home run with the Dodgers. Early count to Ohtani is 1-1. And next pitch, high and outside for ball 2, 2-1. Next pitch, right on the upper outside corner, well placed by Matthews again for strike 2, 2-2. Ohtani steps into the batter's box, then steps out, adjusts himself, both gloves, elbow armor, and the pitch on the way misses for ball 3. So full count to Ohtani with no outs. Swung on, fouled. Count remains 3-2. Ohtani batting right at 300 now. Fouls the ball straight down. Off the catcher. Ohtani checks the catcher to make sure he's okay. Such a good guy. I mean, it's so funny how often he checks on people to make sure they're okay if he hits the ball, of course, unintentionally, and clips them. It could be the catcher, it could be the umpire, it could be somebody in the stands, it could be somebody in the dugout, and he's always just apologetic about it. And the next pitch is once again fouled off. So Matthews now is up to 43 pitches, and he's only at the top of the third inning. So the 3-2 pitch, what do you know? Fouled off. Curveball on the inside part of the strike zone. So the 3-2 pitch on the way to Shohei, and it's a chopper knocked down by the pitcher. Matthews gathers it up and then underhands it to first for the first out of the inning. So nice play by Matthews. Especially knowing that if you bobble the ball, you knock it down and then have to pick it up. You can't waste time because you got a guy that's 6'3" plus who can run. Stole 50 bases not long ago. But all it is an out, and that brings up the number 2 hitter, Andy Pages, playing center field, who's 0 for 1 so far today. Batting .268. Start off at 1-1 in the count. Next pitch outside for ball 2. There's been a couple of questionable calls just based on the graphic today. Pages makes good contact. It goes deep to the left field. Warning track, wall, and caught. Small hop, did not have to collide into the left field fence. But Larnach made a nice play. And he got the fat part of the bat on the ball, just a little bit underneath it. Less than an inch higher, that's a home run probably. So that brings up, with 2 outs, Freddie Freeman batting third. He was also 0 for 1. And the early report on Kyle Tucker is that he was having back spasms, which is the reason he kind of he squatted down after he ran from first to second on the base hit when he was on the base paths. And it looked like retroactively he was trying to get stretched out during that time. But if your back is spasming and it's not stopping, I mean, you're pretty much immobilized. So the early count to Freeman is 2-1 with 2 away. Next pitch, called the ball, but the catcher, Caratini, he's challenging right away. So we'll see if the count stays at 3-1. And the catcher's challenge is correct. Just caught the tail bottom outside portion of the strike zone. And so it resets the count at 2-2. And Freddie swings at the next pitch, up into the bright sun. Run on and caught by the center fielder for out number 3 in Minneapolis. Try to be one of those guys that you can't hear eating or drinking. That's one of my pet peeves. Sends shivers down my spine. So Lauer coming back out to the mound after a solid second inning. So Austin Martin is coming up to bat for Trevor Larnach. And the first pitch misses low and inside for ball 1, 1-0. Martin's batting .235 with 2 home runs and 17 RBIs. Second pitch, 90-mile-an-hour fastball fouled back, strike 1. Next pitch is a broken bat roller to second base. Tommy Edmonds right there, though, and easily makes the out. 1 away. And Dylan Rushing has also been replaced. So Dodgers playing with their third string catcher ultimately, although Will Smith has been out quite a bit because of injury this year. It'd be great to get him back in the lineup. He's a clutch player, but it's about winning time. And when they come back, you want them to be 100% healthy, and you want them to stay with you for the drive towards the playoffs and, of course, into the playoffs. Just going to see how Buxton does this second time around after hitting a home run the first time up. Early counts 1-1. Lauer dials him up with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball inside for a strike, 1-2. And next pitch, well inside, big hooking cutter, pulled to the left. Count is still 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Buxton. And fouled back. Count remains the same with 1 out and no runners on base. 1-2 pitch on the way from Lauer and almost gets away from the catcher Robinson. Way high and outside. Just snatched that out of the air. Wouldn't have begrudged him at all if it got past him and went to the backstop. But 2-2 with no on. Next pitch on the way. And it's low and inside for ball 3. So 3-2 count to Buxton. And it's hit, grounded to Mookie Betts. Bounces in the dirt, but dug by Freddie Freeman. Nice reach to his right for out number 2. Mookie's chain's on the backside of his neck. After all that, sidearm throw. Had to get it out of his glove pretty quickly. But Freddie did a nice job digging that out of the dirt. So 2 away. So Clemens comes up again. He's 0 for 1. And the first pitch is outside. Looks at it for a ball. Next pitch. High for ball 2. Slider missed. Thrown at 81 miles per hour. So 2-0. And the next pitch hit and grounded once again to Tommy Edman at second base. Takes a little bit of a bad bounce, but he gets it no problem. And throws to Freeman at first for the 3rd out of the inning. And Lauer looking pretty comfortable so far. And at the end of 3, the score is still 1-1. All right, so new at bat for Mookie Betts is 0 for 1. And the early count looks like it's going to be 1-2. Because it was initially called a ball and the catcher challenged correctly. So the 1-2 pitch to Mookie. Check swing for strike 3. 1 away. So the injury bug hitting the Dodgers again. Dylan Rushing out. Will Smith, don't know when he's going to return. He's got a stiff neck, and apparently he's had a cortisone shot. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those cortisone shot needles. Woo, they are scary. If you're squeamish at all, you don't have to even see blood to be squeamish. You don't like needles, do not watch somebody getting a cortisone shot. Be nice to get Teoscar Hernandez back with his hamstring. It's been weeks since he's been out of the lineup. Max Muncy at bat. And very gradually he's been working back, and even made some comments saying, I need to get back to playing because I'm doing way more running on the rehab stint for this hamstring. It's going to be almost easier to play baseball than it is to do the rehab stint. So apparently he's going to be trying it out in the minor leagues, Oklahoma City, and it'd be nice if he could, as planned, join the Dodgers in the lineup in another week or two. Muncy grounds to the right side, second base, makes the play no problem, and 2 away. So Alex Call comes up to replace Tucker, who went out with a back spasm, and Alex Call has really, really struggled. He's been batting right around 150 in the month of June. But he gets plugged in to the number 6 spot, and he's batting 247 overall this season. And very quickly looks at the second strike and starts off 0-2. No runners on with 2 outs. Call has no home runs on the season. And makes contact. Just kind of reaches and makes limp contact, but past the pitcher and up the middle for a base hit. So swings on a ball that's outside the strike zone, yet makes good contact. I mean, he gets the fat part of the bat on the ball and had just enough juice to get into center field. So the Dodgers have a runner with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Now, Call is not a very good batter right now, but boy, he's got some wheels. He can run. And at this part of the lineup, when we get to the last 4 hitters in the lineup, this is a place where it might be worth it, especially with the 1-1 game, even though it's the first half, to send him running. But Edman's been solid at the plate, so no reason to take a chance with 2 outs. And right on cue, Edman makes contact and singles to left field. Pitch was up in the zone, made really good contact, went up there and found it where it was. The ball was rising. And so Dodgers have some life with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Starting pitcher Matthews is now up to 68 pitches. And that brings up Chucky Robinson, the 3rd string catcher. So first pitch on the way from Matthews, and it's low and outside, but swung on and missed by Robinson. 0-1. Come on, Chucky. Make him throw strikes. Oh, 1 pitch on the way, and it's low for a ball. Chucky looks pretty thick and sturdy. And the only reason I care, well, the main reason, is because I don't know who would play catcher if he got hurt. If our 3 catchers were out, I don't know, maybe it would be Rojas, because Rojas will do anything for us. And he'll do it well. He'll pitch in relief and keep the wheels from coming completely off, even though he's going to give up some runs. This is after, Dave Roberts throws in the white towel. and says, we're done. He'll pinch hit and he'll get a home run or a hit when called on. He'll play anything in the field, just do whatever we need him to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was him, although I'm sure we have somebody else that's probably a little more experienced that can do that. So the count is 1-2 to Chucky Robinson, who plugs into the 8th spot and playing catcher. So Call takes a nice lead at second. Tommy Edman at first. And the next pitch misses. 2-2. Matthews takes off his glove, starts rubbing the ball. Chucky busts a big old bubble of bubble gum. And so with 2 outs, 2 runners on, 2-2, the pitch is in there and swung on and missed for strike 3 by Robinson. And walks back to the dugout with another big old bubble. Looks like he's got about 3-4 pieces in. But that didn't help him at the plate. So 3 away for the Dodgers, and the Twins will be coming up to close out the inning. I got to go incognito mode in between the innings if I'm going to have like a little snack. I don't want you to see me eating. I don't want you to hear me eating. Oof, that's one of my pet peeves. So we had a little bit of early excitement. A few runners left on this game. But after each team traded home runs in the early part of the game, the first inning of the game, the game's kind of marched along pretty quickly as a low-scoring game will. And so now we're at the top of the fifth. And that brings up Ryan Ward, who's 0 for 1 so far and flied out at his first at bat. Count to Ward is 1-1. Next pitch misses low for ball 2, 2-1. And the next pitch swung on and flied to left field. Looks like it's going to be an easy play. A limping jog for the left fielder. Makes the catch for 1 out. And the best part of the bottom part of the lineup, as always, is the fact that when they're done, it brings up Shohei Ohtani. Wonder how his blister's feeling. I guess we'll find out in conjunction with the next time he pitches. But definitely not going to hinder him at the plate. First pitch is low for a ball. Cutter misses, 91 miles per hour. Next pitch, big dipping curveball, hits the dirt as the catcher grabs it with his glove. 2-0. Next pitch, swings and misses for a strike, 2-1. And that's one of those where he pulls his head. So we talked about this in the very first inning, and I wasn't trying to like rain on his parade, but as we said before, he generates a lot of his power from that tall body by opening up. But when he removes eye contact and he can't see the ball hit the bat, it looks really bad. And that swing, that's exactly how it looked. Kind of just blew air out of his cheeks, closed his eyes, head up to the sky a little bit, and he knew better. Nobody needs to tell him. So the count's 2-2 to Ohtani. And the next pitch misses just outside for ball 3. Full count. So 3-2 with 1 away, and Ohtani makes contact down the right side. Nice reach by the first baseman, who flips it to the pitcher Matthews, covering as he should for out number 2. So that brings up Andy Pages. Pages has been kind of quiet from the plate recently. Always really solid in center field. So 2 away. Swings on the first pitch. And very quickly, Buxton makes the out over his shoulder, almost like a wide receiver, just catching an easy pass from a quarterback for the 3rd out of the inning. But he looks like he'd be a good football player. He's got speed, he's got power. It's kind of interesting to see, what sports people pick early on in life. Usually, whatever they feel like they can be the most skilled at. In the modern age, that's what they're going to specialize in. I feel like America's become much too specialized, and a lot of it's based on the parents. I hate to say it. Often well-intending parents that want to see their kids, both boys and girls, get really good at a sport, and they make them play the same sport all year long from an age that's way too early. I mean, having played multiple sports and also coached and played Division I, and also seeing a lot of players that I've coached go on to the next level, more often than not, this is what they want to see regardless of the sport that's recruiting them or potentially drafting them. They like to see athletes that have experience in more than one sport. In fact, when I was a head football coach, I used to recommend, couldn't force this of course, that for my high school athletes, there were certain sports that would be best for them to play in the off season when they weren't playing football. I didn't want them to, take a month or two off and then go right to 7-on-7 football. I just felt like that was too much mentally as well as physically. Because if you do the same repetitive sport or the same repetitive motions, especially at a young age, if you don't give teenagers especially time to rest and recover and have the growth spurts that they should have take place, then they're more susceptible to injury and, of course, potentially mental burnout. But if I wanted a pitcher, if I wanted a quarterback to play another sport, I'd have a quarterback play baseball potentially, depending on the position, or basketball, being able to see the court and develop those skills that transfer back to football. I'd have linemen wrestle. I'd have receivers and defensive backs and what we would call the speed positions could be running backs. I'd have them run track. But it's ultimately really cool to see where people stick and to hear a lot of the time with these pro athletes how they did play multiple sports when they were younger. So the bottom of the fifth, and Keishel comes up to face Lauer. He's doing a solid job today. And they challenge the second strike, and it misses. It's less than 1/10 of an inch. I don't think you could be wrong on the challenge or miss by a smaller margin. So the 1-1 pitch, curveball, big breaking curveball, foul down the left field side for a foul. 1-2. Keishel is batting .254 on the season. So the 1-2 pitch on the way, and takes the pitch outside for ball 2, 2-2. Lauer now up to his 52nd pitch, even though he did not come into the game until the second inning. So the 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Man, Lauer he's just so unpredictable. I don't know how else to put it at this point, other than wild in a good way. I mean, that was not something that he just blew by the batter. He swung well beneath it. I think he was expecting the curveball because the curveball is just so looping, it just drops off a table. And so, having these pitches land in so many different spots, including the balls being way out of the strike zone, seems to be working for him at this point. So 1 away. And the bottom of the lineup, Kreidler, is up. And the early count to Kreidler is 0-2. Thanks for joining us on LA Press Box. Like and subscribe, and then tell us in the chat today who you think's going to win. 0-2 pitch, contact right up the middle. Tommy Edmonds in position, absolutely no problem. Picks up the ground ball and throws to Freddie Freeman for the out. And that was a perfect example of what I've been talking about. Talking about how between second base, shortstop, and third base, all of those guys have such great range, they can play into and overlap each other's positions. And that was hitting a spot where normally I would expect, at least the last few weeks, for Mookie Betts to run to the other side of second base and make that play. But it's nice that he didn't have to. Now, one of the things that you can see with the 3D imaging is you can see where the defense is placed. And of course, the Dodgers, like all teams, have a scouting report, and they have a card that they'll give the defense, everybody in the field, not just the infield, but the outfield, to say, hey, this is where this guy normally hits the ball, so we want you to shift. So you can see right now that there's a guy, the second baseman is right there, just almost right next to the second base bag, And then Mookie Betts is kind of playing in a pretty normal position. So looks like Edman might have been pre-shifted on that last one, and so he made easy work of that ground ball. So 2 outs and no runners on, and the count is 3-1 to the top of the lineup, Martin. We started with 2 home runs in the very first inning. Shohei Ohtani, second pitch of the game, goes deep. It was awesome. And one of, I think it's 24 or 25 leadoff home runs that he's had in his career. And I know it's easy to start to expect that or just say that's Shohei, but I get a jolt every time that happens. He's just absolutely amazing. And it's not lost on me, at least, what impresses me most is the fact that all the other things that he can do. He can just flip a switch. Not that it's easy for him, but, when they need a home run to get them off to a strong start, he gives it to them. Of course, his pitching has been so on point, although he's struggled the last 2 outings, I think partly because of the blister he's had on his hand. He can steal 50 bases in a season. I mean, he can pretty much do it all, and he does it with grace and kind of a lighthearted attitude. He's a great teammate. But the current batter, Buxton, answered Shohei's home run in the bottom of the first. Blasted Will Klein over the left field fence and tied it up 1-1, and that's where we've been ever since. Early count to him is 1-0. And Lauer throws to first. And 2 outs in this inning. So the next pitch from Lauer this time to Buxton. And solid contact going deep in the same exact spot he hit the home run in the first inning. But Ward gets there and makes the play for the 3rd out. A little bump, a little kiss up against the outfield fence. And all it is a long out. And that is the 3rd of the inning. So at the end of 5, it remains 1-1. And Lauer puts his hands up to the sky as a way of saying thank you, both to him and to his left fielder. All right, and the game is just kind of clicking along as it's wont to do when you have a low-scoring game, everybody. Once again, welcome to LA Press Box. And if you haven't yet today, go ahead and participate in the chat. Tell us who you got. Who do you think is going to win this early 1-1 tie? And let us know where you're watching from. Also, please like and subscribe. That'll help the channel take off. And we're just getting started, guys. We're going to string together some baseball games this summer. And as we march toward the fall and we look at the Dodgers in the playoffs, they're going to be in the playoffs, we will also start to broadcast football games, all from an LA sports perspective, of course. So we'll be doing the Rams, we'll do the Chargers when they can fit in. Obviously, there's going to be times where the Rams and the Chargers play at the same time. And our default's going to be the Rams. We'll also do UCLA football games, which is my alma mater. So I'm really psyched about that. And when we get to football season, I'll try to add a few things that I've learned here and there, both as a player for UCLA, but also as a coach along the way. You will be my students, so to speak. And anytime you're a teacher or a coach, you love what are called teachable moments. So if somebody gets in the chat and says, hey, Aaron, what just happened? Or, hey, Aaron, what do you think? I'm not going to tell you I have the answer all the time, but I'll definitely do the best that I can to find it for you and explain. That's one of the things that we love to do at LA Press Box. We like to help people learn more about the games that we do live streams for, but also learn more about the teams, and then you become more invested and you see why people can be so passionate about those teams. So we go to the top of the 6th, and Freddie Freeman comes up. He's 0 for 2 so far tonight with a strikeout. And after a 4-seam fastball at 92 miles an hour missing, the early count is 2-0 to Freeman. Next pitch, right in the strike zone. Freddie turns on it with that swing his dad taught him. It's going deep to right center, and it's gone. Freddie Freeman over the high part of the fence. So just like that, one swing, and the Dodgers are up a run 2-1. And the first pitch called a ball, once again successfully challenged by the catcher. He's on a roll. I think that's 3 overturns he's had. He should be the umpire instead. So the early count to Mookie Betts is 1-1. And the next pitch misses for ball 2, 2-1. Next pitch low, check swing, does not go. 3-1. Be nice at this point with Matthews getting up there in the pitch count to see the Dodgers in the 6th inning get a little bit of momentum. Count is full with no outs. Wow. Great home run that they're shown again by Freddie Freeman. And on his 94th pitch, Matthews throws ball 4 to Mookie Betts. And with no outs, got another fast guy on base for the Dodgers. This is a great time to attack. And the Dodgers, really, this has been like winning time for them. Other than, closing out games in the 9th, they have been time and time shown to surge and get a lead and not look back in the 6th and especially the 7th innings. So, catcher's going to come out, as you can see, and talk to the pitcher. See if he can pick up what he's saying here. Too late on the draw, too late. But Matthews looks like he's pulling up his pants, trying to take a deep breath and get ready to pitch to Max Muncy, who is one of our top hitters this year when it comes to going yard. And the first pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1. Boy, I can't wait for the Dodgers and the Padres to play again this weekend. Took my daughter and son to come to go and see them at Petco. Great atmosphere. Petco's a beautiful place next to the gas lamp to go and watch a game. 0-2 pitch on the way to Muncy. And hits a line, but right to the right fielder for out number 1. Mookie Betts goes back to first. And when we were coming into the stadium, it was a birthday/graduation gift for my daughter. She just graduated from University of San Diego, so congrats, Faith. The person that was checking our tickets on the way in said, "Come on in and see the first place Padres." And they were up like half a game on the Dodgers at that point. And I said, "Yeah, not anymore after tonight." And she was like, "Dad, you can't say that. It's their stadium." And I guess that's a good sign. I guess on one level we raised her right, but on the other level, I got to teach her to be a more obnoxious fan, even if you're on the road. My son has learned that. So I'm proud of him in that respect. And Alex Call with another base hit, so good for him. Kind of trash talked him a little bit earlier because he's struggled, but nice smile from him on first base after he lines and gets on for the second time today. Not a strong pitch, though. Not a very good pitch. I mean, it was right in the middle of the strike zone, so you'd think that a major leaguer could make good contact on that, and to his credit, Call did it. So now we're getting to this guy, and he's almost to 100 pitches. He's thrown 99 pitches. And he's done a nice job. I mean, he's given up a few hits tonight. He's given up 2 home runs. He has not done a poor job. Matthews has only had 1 run of support from his batting order, and that was a home run from Buxton early on. So the conference at the mound is over. That'll be the last time they talk to him before they pull him from the game. He's probably hoping he can finish this inning out, and then they can bring in a middle reliever in the 7th. But Tommy Edman back up, and he's batting .467, although he's only been back for a couple of games. But, I mean, he was .345 when the game started tonight. Now he's 2 for 2. And when you got a small sample size, that really helps. Makes a big difference. So the first pitch to him is 100 miles an hour, but it misses for a ball. So 1-0. And then the next pitch, flied, kind of caught Tommy on the hands inside to left center. Left fielder makes the play. Going to tag up from second, and Mookie gets to third. And Alex Call, who can run, one of the fastest guys we have, he also advances. So they could have thrown to second on the tag, and at least after letting Mookie Betts go to third base, keep Call on first, but they didn't. So with 2 outs, Robinson comes up, the man of the moment, our third string catcher, trying to bring him home with 2 outs and runners on second and third. First pitch is a strike. And second pitch swings and misses. Strike 2. We don't want to see Chucky strike out again. Struck out last time in between a couple of huge bubbles blown from that gum. He's got a big wad in his right cheek right now. So the 0-2 pitch misses outside, low and outside. He's trying to get him to chase it. And that brings the count to 1-2 with 2 away. Don't chase it, Chucky. Don't chase it now. All right, here we go. The 1-2 pitch with both runners in scoring position to Chucky Robinson, just outside and fouled away. Count remains at 1-2. Chucky's looking for not just his first hit as a Dodger, but his first hit in 2 years. So, as they say, the odds are not ever in his favor. Next pitch misses, though. 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 runners on in scoring position. The 2-2 pitch fouled away again. Count remains at 2-2. Chucky, Chucky, Chucky. And the 2-2 pitch to Chucky. Swings and misses. Strike 3. Strikes out again. And he's bubbleless on the gum even. He knows he should have done better. Just make some kind of contact. Make the defense make a play. But we get a run. get a run on Freddie Freeman's home run, and so now the Dodgers 2 and the Twins 1, going to the bottom of the 6th inning. All right, so Lauer back out there, doing a solid outing so far. Eric Lauer's only had one really hard hit ball against him, and that brings up Clemens to start the next inning, or at least the bottom of the next rotation. And starts them off 1-1. Next pitch, outside for ball 2, 2-1. And the next pitch also misses, 3-1. Twins don't have a hit against Lauer so far. Next pitch on the way. Looks like it's low, but ooh, the umpire calls a strike. This umpire has not been very good. I'm not one of those homers that's going to just say whatever helps the Dodgers, whatever helps the home team that you're rooting for, even though they're not playing home, they're on the road. I want everything to be called clean and accurate so that when you walk off the field and you've won, you know there is no doubt that you're a better team. And so that was challenged and overturned. And so Lauer walks the first batter of the inning. Next up is Bell. Bell flies to center field, and Alex Call runs all the way from right field in between the infield and Andy Pages. Should have probably been Pages' play, but Call is just probably feeling himself after those hits that he's had this game. And so he's like, it's mine. It's my day. So 1 on, 1 out. And of course, a 1-run game. Brings up the number 5 hitter, Lewis, who's 1 for 2. And only batting .206 on the year. And the next pitch, swung on and fouled back, strike 2, 0-2. So Bauer's ahead in the count on this one. And the next pitch, way inside. Did it hit him? Did the Mambo. I thought it might have buzzed him. Let's see this again. Nope, just misses his right upper thigh. And all it is a dramatic ball, 1-2. So Lewis still up there. And the next pitch on the way is flied to center field again. See if Pages makes this play. Oh, he's got to be the person because he's near the warning track, but not much more than a brisk jog, and makes the catch for 2 away. So just another long out for Lauer. 2 away with a runner at first. So after the leadoff walk, a couple of quick outs, brings up the catcher, the 6th hitter is Caratini, swings at the first pitch and fouls it up high over by Freddie Freeman. Runs over and then has to fall back just a couple of steps, so it makes the catch in foul territory for the 3rd out. And pretty quickly, Lauer just walks right back to the dugout. And at the end of 6, the Dodgers 2 and the Twins 1. So we're about to head into the 7th inning, and this has been the most productive, crucial inning for the Dodgers for several weeks now. So it'd be nice if they got a little bit of insurance, although it's kind of early to even be saying insurance. We're only 2/3 of the way through the game. Still got 9 outs ahead of us. But the Twins bring in a new pitcher, Taylor Rogers, who's been in 33 games this year. And the lefty has a 5.2 ERA. And another new face in this game, Miguel Rojas, who I was talking about so highly earlier on. Early count to Rojas is 1-1. And the ball drops into the strike zone, and he nods yes, like, okay, no problem, I got this. It's very different body language, and that's part of what makes him so successful when he has to be Johnny on the spot. It's just his mindset. Second ball is inside, and he fouls it off for strike 2. So pinch hitting to lead off this inning. 1-2 pitch, and line hard down the left side, right at the third baseman, and he bobbles it, kind of just, wow, kind of beamed him almost. I mean, he got a glove on it, but It's going to have to be called an error, although it was hit so hard by Rojas, you could argue it was a base hit. That ball was hit at about 97 miles an hour, and the third baseman had to backhand it and kind of give a little ground because it was so fast, trying to track that, and it just could not come up with it. So, once again, Miguel Rojas does what he's called to do. Makes contact, puts it in play, and I think they might have actually marked that a base hit. And what do you know? Shohei Ohtani up again with a runner on first and no outs. So fouled off for strike two. Ohtani's 1 for 3. His average is .297. Had that great leadoff home run that cleared it with space. 0-2 pitch, high and outside for ball one. Rogers was hoping he was going to chase that one. But good discipline by Shohei. So now with no outs, the 1-2 pitch on the way. And way outside and low for ball two, 2-2. .76-mile-an-hour sweeper on that one. And the 2-2 pitch hit hard to second base. A sliding field by the second baseman, turns to second, to the shortstop, to first, and a double play. You don't see that very often. You don't see Shohei hitting in double plays very often, but they did a nice job, Keishel did, starting that off by fielding it cleanly with like a half slide to his left, then pops up and flips it to second base, and they turn two. So 2 away, just like that, in the top of the 7th. And that brings up number 2 hitter Andy Pages, who's 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch, sweeper, slow, 78 miles an hour, and right in the middle of the strike zone for strike one. Next pitch on the way, and catches the bottom low corner. Strike two. Next pitch inside for a ball. 1-2. No runners on after the double play, and 2 away. One-two pitch. Golfs on a low pitch, kind of bangs his bat into the dirt in a little bit of frustration, and it's a long, easy fly out to center field. And Buxton ends the inning with that play. So that brings Pages to 0 for 4 today. And that brings us to the 7th inning stretch. I'm going to stretch. So they run Lauer out there again. And the 7th inning is like the 6th inning for him. And when he's pitching well, that's actually a good thing. He's only at 78 pitches at this point. And the number 7 hitter, Lee, is seeing 3-1 in this count to start the inning. Luke Keeschel on deck. So the 3-1 pitch on the way. Swung on, foul back for strike 2. Full count. No outs. And the 3-2 pitch on the way. It's a curveball. And just lofted to center field. No problem. Andy Pages takes 4 steps back and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. So that brings up Keeschel with 1 away. And Keeschel is 0 for 2 so far today. First pitch to Keeschel. Catches him inside a little bit on the hands. Although it was a strike, it's popped over to second base. And Rojas makes the catch over his shoulder without too much trouble. 2 away, just like that. So very quickly, 2 away in the bottom of the 7th, and that brings up Kreidler, who's 0 for 2 tonight, batting .288 on the season. Lauer starts him off with a fastball, strike 1. So with 2 outs. And the next pitch is also in the strike zone. And another relatively easy, very easy play for Pages to make on a fly ball to center field. And just like that, 3 away. So Lauer's clicking. He almost looks like he's getting better and less wild than he was in the early part of the game as the game goes on. And his pitch count's in the low 80s at this point. So we're going to the top of the 8th, and Freddie Freeman waiting to lock in. Oh, I love those visuals, how it makes it look like there's 2 Freddie Freemans. I'll take 2 Freddie Freemans any day. And the first pitch is swung on a miss for strike 1. 78-mile-an-hour sweeper. And the next pitch, low and outside for ball 1. Thanks to Freddie, we had the go-ahead run 6 outs away from it being the winning run. 1-1 pitch. Just outside, fouled off for strike 2. Next pitch was a ball. Another challenge from Caratini. This got to be a nightmare for the umpire. And he's right again. So Freddie looks at strike 3 for the first out of the inning. I think that's 5 challenges. How would you feel as the umpire? This is your full-time job, guys. This is not like some dude who like drives an Uber and then in his spare time he's an umpire. The most important one is the one behind the plate, of course, because he has the most power, the most control over the most plays. And to be standing in the same spot on the field as the catcher and have the catcher say, nah, you're wrong, 5 times and be right all 5 times. But at this point, it looks like the Twins are going to sub and bring in a new pitcher. Next up to bat is going to be Mookie Betts, who is 0-2 on the day at this point. It looks like the Twins are going to bring in a righty. So the Twins make the move to Eric Orzi. He's pitched 31 games, but has not allowed a home run. And part of his arsenal is a split finger. So the first pitch to Betts, swung on right away, hit to shortstop, no problem for the second out of the inning. So 2 away, Max Muncy comes up. Muncy's 0 for 3. So we have 2 stars on the Dodger lineup that are the reason for the 2 runs in the game. And then some of the guys in the lower half of the lineup actually stepping up and doing some key things tonight, both defensively and offensively. At least they're having solid nights at the plate, even though it hasn't directly produced runs. But people like Muncy and Pages, who you usually count on for more production, have been struggling. And right on cue, Muncy swings at a ball that's way low and out of the strike zone for a strike. So counts 1-1 to Muncy with 2 away. Next pitch misses low. So 2 away, the count is 2-1, and the pitch to Muncy. Swung on a miss at the top of the strike zone for strike 2. 2-2. So the 2-2 pitch. Oh, he got all of that one. It's in right center and bounces off the wall, and it looks like it's going to be a stand-up double for Muncy. Atta baby Muntz does the Dodger dance. You can see it right there. Pretty funny for a stocky guy. No swag on that. But we'll take it. We'll celebrate. And he feels great about that. Great contact. And it landed at about 400 feet, a little short of 400 feet deep. And that brings up the sixth hitter, Call, who surprisingly is 2 for 2 tonight. And with Muncy at second base, he's in scoring position. It'd be great if Call got another hit. He'd be on cloud 9. First pitch is in there for a strike. Splitter 84 mile an hour. So 0-1. Pitch from Orzi, outside for a ball, 1-1. Dodgers have out-hit the Twins 8-2 tonight, but they're only up by 1. And the next pitch, splitter, right in the middle of the strike zone. Brings the count to 1-2 with 2 away. Baseball is a lot of times about streaks and field, so hopefully Call is still feeling it after his 2 for 2 start to this game. And so the 1-2 pitch from Orzi is on the way. And it's low, swung on and fouled to the left-hand side. Count remains 1-2. And it looks like Call is going to call for a new bat. All right, so the count is 1-2. And gets him swinging for strike 3 and out 3 on a big curveball. That looks like the Call we've seen for much of the season when he's been in there. So no insurance run in that inning. And the Dodgers are 6 outs away from the victory. They're going to send Lauer back out there, I believe, who has not given up a hit yet. Now, I don't know what you call it if it's a no-hitter, but the guy didn't pitch the first inning. Like, if he went 8 innings, 2nd through 9, and nobody got a hit, I don't know. I guess they just call it 8 hitless innings. I don't know nearly as much about baseball as I do football. So maybe they have some kind of special term for it. I don't know. Let's see if we can see Lauer warming up. What is this visual? Hey, man, I'm going to get triggered. Whatever that visual was, it looked like a Padre pitcher. Ooh. Man, I was going to get worked up about that. So did we actually sub Lauer for Hurt? Or I should say Hurt for Lauer. Obviously, that's what the 3D's saying. And it is confirmed. Kyle Hurt. Makes me a little bit nervous. A little bit nervous. Most recent outings, last two, he struggled, even though he's had a good year overall so far. But the first pitch is outside for a ball. Oh boy. Okay, second pitch on the way. And hit right up the middle for a base hit. Come on now, Hurt. Come on now. We do not need the drama. And that pitch was on the inside part of the strike zone, but I mean, it was just cheese. That was not challenging at all. So that brings up Buxton, who's 1 for 3 with a home run that he hit back in the first inning. First pitch inside, swung on a miss for strike one. Watch enough baseball over the years, you just know when to be nervous. And you don't have to think, you just feel it. I'm feeling it. So the 0-1 pitch on the way from Hurt to Buxton and fouled off, strike two. Oh boy. And the ball's hit into the dirt, and then it hits Chucky in a sensitive spot, and now he's got to shake it off. The way that Dylan Rushing had to shake off a foul to the helmet, and the Dodgers were saying concussion-like symptoms for him. So, Chucky, you got this, man. You got this. It's but a flesh wound. It's but a flesh wound. So 0-2 to Buxton. No outs. Next pitch. Inside. And fouled left of the home run pole. Thank goodness. Oh boy. And this is one of the reasons you watch baseball. I know, especially in the middle of the summer when teams are jockeying for position, it's nothing like the playoffs, and a lot of the innings feel like, whatever. But boy, you get late in the game and it's a close game. For me, the drama and the tension, if you care at all, is second to none. So 2-1 Dodgers. Bottom of the 8th, 0-2 with a runner on and nobody out. And the pitch to Buxton, who hit a home run earlier. High heat, swings on, misses. Strike three. Good job, Hurt. Big number 63 uncorked all of his body on that pitch. Wow, he looked like he was grunting before the ball was even out of his hand. So, one away. Ooh, and another challenge. This kind of challenge meaning he's going right at the batter with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, but that thing was moving too. So, maybe feeling a little more confident now, 0-1. Next pitch on the way, fouled off, and hits Chucky in the face. Strike two. Hang in there, Chucky Robinson. You can do this. You're not allowed to get a concussion, Chucky. Oh, it actually missed him and hit the umpire. That's even better. All right, 0-2. And just barely makes contact, and Rojas reaches and makes the play at second base for the second out of the inning. Man, he's dependable. They reached out, as you could see on the video, hopefully, that he just made contact on a ball out of the strike zone. And it was a chopper that took a little time to get to Rojas. And we're looking at the replay, but I think it's going to be confirmed that it's an out. And it was. And the next batter hits a line shot to right field, and Alex Call dives and makes the catch for the third out of the inning. All right. Kind of a half dive, half slide. And makes a nice play. Call's feeling good about himself, has a little bit of a sheepish grin, and he's jogging back to the dugout. Dodgers 3 outs away from the victory. So we're going to the top of the ninth with Tommy Edman coming up. He's had 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3. Solid job at the plate since he's rejoined the Dodgers from surgery and rehab. And it looks like Orzi will be going out again. We'll see. He was in a little bit of trouble last inning. But nothing too significant. Needless to say, it'd be great to get some insurance runs at this time for the Dodgers. Be nice to get back on a roll and get a couple of victories against the Twins before we face the Padres this weekend. Padres have been terrible since the last time they faced the Dodgers. One of the worst teams in baseball. Maybe the worst hitting performance of some of their stars. Machado's been terrible. I don't even know if his batting average is at 200. It's not like I'm tracking them that often, but I will see in passing. All right, looking for some insurance as we go to the top of the ninth. And Tommy Edman coming up. And the Twins bring in Andrew Morris, who's pitched in 25 games this year and has an ERA of 4.54. Oh my goodness. First pitch is a ball, and the catcher challenges. But I don't think he'll be successful this time. Umpire just turned away and said, please, God, let him not be right. And he's not, so count starts at 1-0. Next pitch, outside for ball 2. 2-0 to Edman. He's had 2 singles tonight. His average is currently at .438. Next pitch, high for ball 3. So we like what we see here so far. 3-0 pitch. Wonder if Tommy Edman's just taking, and it looks like he is. Lets him throw a strike just inside. 3-1. Dodgers are trying to make it 5 for 6 out of their recent 1-run games. 5 wins to 1 loss. Next pitch is on the inside corner and low a little bit, but for a strike to Edman. 3-2 with no outs. Asks for time, steps out, and then comes back in. Whole Dodger dugouts on their feet, watching what's happening. 3-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled back. Count remains full. So the Twins facing the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Dodgers. And then, of course, Shohei Ohtani always lurking. But swung on and popped up to left. Shortstop, left field, communicating, looking a little shaky, but left fielder ends up taking it for the first out of the inning. Meanwhile, Tanner Scott, our closer, is getting warmed up in the bullpen, hoping to close this game out with 3 outs to go. And that brings up Chucky Robinson, our third string catcher who has not had a hit in 2 years and has not looked good tonight with 2 strikeouts. Swings at the first pitch, foul deep to right, right on the right foul line, and an easy catch for the right fielder. I mean, at least they made contact. I don't know if that was fair or foul territory. It didn't really matter either way. So pretty quickly, 2 away in the 9th. So it'd be great to have some kind of insurance. Let's see if we can pick up what they're saying at the mound. It'd be great to get some kind of inside info. Hey, bro, you know Shohei's on deck over there. You see him? He's like 6'3", and you know how fast he is. Hey, man, get out here. Let's get back. Let's get the game going. All right, I can do this. It's the 9-hitter, man. I can get him out. All right, so nobody on, 2 outs in the top of the 9th. And Morris set to pitch to Freeland. He's got wheels, but always struggles to get on base. First pitch is in there for a strike. 0-1. Next pitch, high and outside. Ball 1, 1-1. Next pitch is on the way and bounces in front of home plate. Hits the catcher in the chest. He starts looking around, can't find the ball. And it looks like Morris might have lost his footing as he was planting and driving to come home with the pitch. So the count now 2-1 to Freeland. And a pinch hit. Base hit to right field. So 2 outs and a speedy Freeland on first base. And now, they're walking Shohei. Wow, to get to Andy Pages. What an insult. Although Shohei's had a home run tonight, and Pages is 0 for 4. But honestly, if I was the Twins, I'd probably do the same thing. I mean, it's just not worth it. So it does put a speedy runner at that, in scoring position. And now they're going to have a meeting at the mound. I love this 3D stuff. What's even happening? Are they slam dancing on each other while they're talking about Shohei walking so that they can get to Andy Pages? I don't know. Whatever it takes for them to keep this from getting out of hand and not allowing us to get some insurance. But Andy can do this. He can definitely do this. He's played at an all-star level so far this year. And if he gets a base hit, there's a really good chance we're going to score from second. So, first pitch. And it's high, and it's a called strike. But if you're going to challenge, now's the time to challenge. And it looks on the broadcast like it just missed. This is the key time to challenge. Don't challenge when there's like a meaningless situation. You just happen to disagree. And I think he would have done that a lot of the time in other situations, but for whatever reason he didn't. And now suddenly it's 0-2 to Pages. And Pages asks for a quick timeout, adjusts his gloves, and steps back in. 2-1 Dodgers with 2 outs and runners on first and second, both of them speedy. The 0-2 pitch on the way to Pages. The pitches low and outside. He check swings and strikes out for the third. Shakes his head, and now Andy's 0 for 5 on the night. But we're still 3 outs away from the victory. And we're bringing in our closer, Tanner Scott, who's been one of the most reliable pitchers on the Dodgers staff this year. And that's what, of course, you expect from your closer. So the Dodgers looking to stay well in first in the division and battling for the best record in baseball. The two teams that they're in the running for both of those positions are playing each other. Atlanta Braves are playing against the San Diego Padres. And I am so hyped when it's a Dodgers versus Padres week. Try not to look ahead, but it's hard not to. So you can see Tanner Scott warming up there. Chucky Robinson making a go of it after getting dinged and struggling at the plate. But thank goodness we have a third catcher that can get in there and catch Tanner. So ultimately, at this point, the 2-1 one-run difference is a difference in home runs. Shohei and Freddie Freeman with the 2 home runs for the Dodgers. And here comes Tanner Scott looking for the save. 33 games he's been in. His ERA is 2.32. And out of 10 save chances, he's converted 9 of them this year. So definitely who the Dodgers want on the mound at this point. So Rushing and Tucker both left with injuries earlier. But all that matters right now is finishing this game out for Tanner Scott. First ball is low for a ball. Royce Lewis is up. He's 1 for 3 tonight. 7 home runs on the season. He's down on the minors for a bit, and he's been a lot better since they pulled him back up. Swung on and missed for strike 1, high in the strike zone. So count 1-1. The thing about Tanner Scott is, and he's not a particularly tall or long pitcher, but the ball moves. He's got a really good ball movement, and it gets there in a hurry on people. You know, you can throw, and it sounds silly, you can throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and depending on the pitcher and the movement and the placement, you can be Tanner Scott throw 98, and it can be more difficult to see. So with no outs, count is 1-2. So pitch to the number 5 hitter, Lewis, on the way. Made contact. It was high in the strike zone. Looks like he got underneath it and fly to center field, and no problem for Pages for the first out of the inning. 2 more to go for the Dodgers. And the Twins have had a pretty meager output at the plate tonight, aside from the home run in the first inning. So 1 away, and that brings up Caratini, whose biggest role tonight has probably been all these overturned calls from behind the plate, but swings at the first pitch, flies it to right, and no problem for Alex Call to make the second out of the inning. And just like that, the Minnesota Twins are down to their last out. So that brings up Brooks Lee, who's 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch on the way, and it's a strike one. 0-1. Pitch was way inside, way inside. And that slider was brutal. I mean, it looked like it moved 4 feet. And the next slider is low, but moved just as much. Swung on a miss for strike 2. And now the Dodgers are 1 strike away from ending this sucker. And starting off this series against the Twins on a positive note. So 0-2 with 2 outs. Pitch from Tanner Scott to Lee. And he lays off of this one. Same exact pitch, but it's a ball. 1-2. So Tanner Scott with a 1-2 count, looking for his 10th save, and tries the same thing. And this time it was the worst of the 4 sliders that were low and inside. It actually bounces in the dirt, and the catcher digs it out. So now the count is 2-2, and Lee takes a big deep breath before he gets back in the batter's box. 2-2 pitch, fastball, and a little high and outside for a ball. Holy moly. And just like that, the count is full with 2 outs. So full count pitch on this way. Line to Muncy. Muncy digs it. Long throw to first for the 3rd out of the game and the inning. Sorry, the inning. Wow. And this Minnesota offense, which was on a roll, really got their hats handed to them by the Dodger pitchers. I mean, from the 2nd inning on, Dodger pitchers did an outstanding job. And so Tanner Scott clinches his 10th save in 11 opportunities this year. And 2 home runs outpaced the 1 from the Twins. And the Dodgers remain way, way ahead of the San Diego Padres in the division and near the top of the majors in terms of their record and vying for the best record in baseball. So that is it from Minnesota, guys. Thanks for joining LA Press Box. As always, we look forward to seeing you the next time. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and we're going to grow this channel for all LA sports fans. See you next time. Have a great night.